Hi all, welcome back to more Animax in Kharkov, German Solo Part 27, Turn 3, the beginning of Turn 3. So, yeah, I'll just come straight back from uploading that part of the phone, and yeah, let's just move on just now. I'm feeling a bit weary actually, so I don't know how we'll get on, but we can get started. So, reserve phase. Yeah, reserve phase. I'm just looking at the back cover of the rule book. So from turn 2, reserve phase, take units from the current turn space and place them in the reserve boxes. From turn 3 plus, we can deploy delayed German reserves. Well, we didn't have any of them. So let's get the units off the calendar into the reserve box and also have a look at what's underneath them units and what it says in the calendar, because it'll give us a little bit of information, I think. So just looking up there, there's a calendar there. These are all the reserves that we've got. They've all just bounced back and whatever. Now, I'm not got them all stacked up. I'd like to look at them individually, but right, this is coming from the calendar for reserves. But I might be running out of space really when I look at it this way. So he's coming, and then oh yeah, there's too many, Grant. You're gonna have to stack these up, I think. Right, give me a second. I'm going to stack these up a bit better. Well, I suppose I should show you what's coming along. We got that guy from 3rd Tank. These 2 mechanised units on 6th Army are coming in, and then also we get this mechanised unit, and so I mean, yeah, quite a lot of stuff. So that's what we've got sitting in the reserve now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5 units? 1, 2, 3. 5 pop-off units, 5 3rd Tank units, 2 6th Army units that are mechanised, are armoured, and 2 40th Army units, one of them which is armoured as well. So, and we get a pitiful 3 infantry units from 40 Corps. So, well, mind you, it's our first reserves we've got, so I shouldn't really be grumbling. But you can see that the pressure's still going to be on this turn, and once we get into turn 4, things should start turning a little bit. So what do we have in the calendar space there? So fixed artillery range, you can see, moves up to 4. This is turn 3 from February the 7th to the 9th. German hand size moves up to 5. Okay, and German supplemental cards move up to 5. And then we can start German replacements. So there's no mention of, I know we've got one movement method that kicks in on turn 3, doesn't it? So we'll just need to be aware that turn 3 things, may happen. But the big one, I suppose, is the fact we can start replacing units. So that's a good thing, because I'd like to get the 248 Corps units back. Also maybe repair that 2nd SS unit that I took the hit to avoid the hit from the 3-step 48 Corps unit. Anyway, right, so that's all we need to know for there. So I'll put these down in the thing. We get our activate any one unit back, fresh, ready to go. And yeah, and we didn't have any reserves from turn 1, it would be, wouldn't it? There needs to be 2 turns earlier that's still left in the reserve box, or we would be able to deploy them for free. So that is that. Right, now on to the card preparation phase. I'll just quickly go through that. Okay, just looking in at an odd angle here. So first is place this turn's primary reinforcement cards face down in the draw pile. Supplemental reinforcement cards face down the available supplementals. Well, we've got game turn 3, and then that's these are 4, 5s and 6s. So we do get 2 cards. Let's put them back there. So we get the 1st Panzer Army card and a Kampfgruppe card for 40 Corps. They're both supplementals, so they go face down in the available supplementals. So they might come into play this turn. We then shuffle the available supplementals. There's not an awful lot of them. And then deal quantity indicated for this turn, well, if you can remember it was 5, and place these face down in the draw pile. In fact, well, there's only 6, so we're only going to have 1 left over. I hope that's right. It was 2 before. I made a blunder in my Soviet soul at one point with that. So we're drawing 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll leave 1 supplemental card behind. These all go in there. And then we'll place the last turn's discarded supplemental cards. Just checking they're all supplemental. There was 5 of them. They just go face down in there. We'll get them back to shuffle for next turn. We then take the primary cards. These are all primaries. There's all 5 of them. We place them face down there. We shuffle this up and we draw our hand size for this turn, which is 5 this time. Okay, so that's that done. I've drawn my hand of 5 cards. I've not looked at them yet though. And yeah, and just a quick shuffle of the Soviet cards. So just, to be honest, I just shuffled them really. We've got 2 cards to shuffle back in. So this shuffles up. However, we've got these 2 cards coming in this game turn 3. So I'm not quite sure if the light's coming in there very well. I'm staring a lamp in my face. So yeah, first card's Army Units and a 40th Army Units card. So they were both game turn 3, yeah. So they both come in as well. So just shuffle all that together. Okay, that's that shuffled in, ready to go. So now the supply phase. Right, let me move back across. So from turn 2, right, there's 5 steps here. From step 1 is from turn 4 we'd place garrisons, so we're not there yet. 2 determines supply status of German units, and then if it was from 4+, then we'd check Soviet units. But they get away with it for another turn yet. So yeah, it's just normal supply for us. I don't think I need to go and look at things here. Right, let's just look. Well, we know there's a guy in trouble up here, isn't there? This guy here, he's nobody adjacent, he's surrounded, he is going out of supply, I'm afraid. So he can still keep his IP marker. I want to say if they're out of supply they probably can't build one, but there's a problem putting these markers on top and you don't see what the unit is. But the fact that he's surrounded and in that status, yeah, you tend to find you just leave him sitting there. So this guy's okay, no issues. Now, this guy's fine, and this was the reason that we, well, I say it was a reason. No, it wasn't. We did try and make an attack here and done nothing to this unit at all. This little 1-step, 2-strength infantry unit sitting in that clear hex. In fact, did we not take a hit? We did, didn't we? We took it out ourselves. And I took the hit on this guy to save this guy, so he kept his 3 steps. However, this guy can trace supply through this unit. He can trace into there, even though it's in his zone of control. It's into a friendly supplied unit, and then he's on the supply road down. So that was good that we managed to avoid that. These are all on the right side. I think everything, I want to say everything else is alright actually. We did have issues with a unit further up, didn't we? These are all okay. Yeah, this guy's still in trouble, isn't he? He's not surrounded, but well, let's look at the rest of these first. You can see these are okay. This is okay, and this, well, that's actually, I think it's a German map edge hex is adjacent to there as well, but they're okay as well. So let's focus back on this guy. Yeah, because I think if he's going to find supply, he's going to have to go in the way first, which, yeah, that's not going to work. So yeah, you can't trace into this hex and you can't trace into this hex. Could I not have done something about that? Well, I dare say if I'd maybe kept that 3rd core card and not done what I'd done with it, then I may well have brought somebody adjacent to him to get him supply. However, I wasn't able to do that. So I mean, he can start tracing inland. Yeah, it's not going to help on him. He can go 1. Man, it's a trace of 7 hexes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he can't trace through either of these hexes, which could get him out. If there'd been a gap in here, he might have been able to do it. But yeah, not to be, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. Again, like I say, I would have liked to think I would have noticed that come the time if we'd been able to keep hold of that third core card. Makes put disperse marker on. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah. I know. Did I not maybe also consider bringing this guy back now? Oh no, I couldn't move him back. No, I couldn't. That's right, because of where he is. I knew he would have to move forward. Yeah, I should have realised that, but these are some of the things that you need to think as you're coming to through the turn. Well, maybe not. Sometimes at the end of the turn. I mean, I did consider this one quite early on, the fact that okay, this guy was surrounded, but I suppose this guy was sitting in a VP town, so it was easy to see that he wanted to stay there and not primarily give this guy's a supply trace, is really to keep the VP hex. But anyway, right. So we got 2 guys going that way. It's not the end of the world. I mean, that's a 2-strength, 2-step unit. I think this is a 2-strength, 1-step unit, isn't it? They still do have IPs. They're still holding. Well, he's probably not. Well, he is still actually holding a line, part of the line, and so is this guy. But you kind of fear for them a bit more when they're out of supply, because obviously things are worse. Right. So that's the supply status of the German units, and we don't check Soviets until next turn. We've already placed out supply markers. It is not turn A, or we check VPs to determine the Soviet support line, and it's not it's not turn 7, so we wouldn't check for front objective removal, and that's it. We're on the command phase, so conduct alternative impulses, Soviets first. Right, let's have a look at our hand first. Right, I'm not sure where it's gone, but there's a front object. There's the Donets front objective marker is nowhere to be seen. Oh, the tripod's sitting with one of its legs right on top of it. I must have moved it. That was in Valky, wasn't it? Right. Okay. There we go. All done and repaired and fixed. So what we got here? We've got 3 Kampfgruppe cards. We do have the 2nd SS. Yeah. We've got air supply event there, which removes supply issues from a unit or a stack of units. Replacement point. We've got 1 replacement point on that card, so that's the primary card. This is the auxiliary card, and it's got 2 replacement points to core rouse. That would bring 2 core rouse units back into the reserves, I think. Yeah, we've got 3 40 core units in the reserve units box as well, so we've got a card that would deploy them. In actual fact, we could bring 2 rouse units back and deploy them also with that. So we've got the cards in hand. We've got enough to deploy 5 units over the course of 3 impulses, admittedly. 3rd core Kampfgruppe card. Yeah, well that's probably. Yeah. Mind we've got we've got something to deal with here. Well, we don't need to react right away, but we need to be prepared, because if they do move adjacent, well, in fact, if a unit moved into there, and I'm talking about moving this infantry unit, I wouldn't get round about there, would I? 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I wouldn't get round about if something moved into there with that guy. However, I'd always be able to move them. So that 40 core card, even though it's a camp card, is quite important. But we can wait and see what the Soviets do, because they can't get at Kramatorsk with that first impulse. But we need to keep that in mind. I suppose the other thing to be wary about is obviously Belgorod as well. Things have opened up a little bit here. Yeah, that second SS card to repair that guy would be nice, but it is a primary card to activate the whole core. But I don't know. Looking at the rest of them, I'm not so sure I would be fussed about doing anything with them, to be honest. So it might not be the worst application of the card. I suppose that we do need to watch. This means this core rouse unit probably, yeah, it's going to get flooded with some of the 40th Army and the 69th Army, though, isn't it? Well, maybe more reason to get. Maybe it's better to repair 2 rouse units and bring them back as reserves. Because we could play that card to put 2 eliminated rouse units. I mean, they only come in as 1 steppers, so 2 strength. And then we could deploy them next again turn. We don't need to leave an impulse in between that. And we could probably deploy them both in Belgorod. Is this army? Yeah, this is their area. So we could probably deploy them both in there. That might be a better use of the 2 card rather than activating core rouse isn't going to do nothing. We've only got 1 guy. Well, this out of supply surrounded guy as well. But yeah, okay. So some things to think about. I think looking at that, my feeling is, I don't know what the Soviets are going to do, so we'll need to see. My feeling is probably replace 2 points in core rouse to start with. Yeah, I don't know. Right, well, we don't get to decide what we're doing first, so let's see what the Soviets are going to do. It's certainly nicer to have 5 cards in hand rather than 4, though, tell you that. Right, turn 3. Anything I should be worried about? Don't think so. We're on the impulses. Yeah, let's just go for it. Right, so draw 2 cards. Oh, I've got pop-off units card. Oh, seriously? Right, they're both units cards. Well, that one's a 2. Neither primary. So this has got the higher command value of 2 over the 1. There is no event. Well, it's not turn 6. So that card's going to sit there. And we're going to activate 2 mobile group pop-off stacks. I think the bit that's worse about that, though, is an all mobile group pop-off reserves. And there's 5 of them. And we knew one of them coming in this turn was a 3-step, 6 strength armoured unit. So, yeah, this could be a couple of nasty starts to the turn, I think. We're going to see what we're made of here, I think. Even though it's just the units that are activating. Well, to be honest, the fact that there's only 4 units on the map, it's going to pick 2 of them. That's what makes them cards even stronger for them, isn't it? The fact that they're still, it's not just 2 stacks, it's 2 stacks and all the reserves. Yeah, right, okay, we'll get that first card up and we'll have a look, see what's happening. I just had a feeling that my last activation, I didn't check the Donets front objective marker, did I? I get the feeling I didn't, but it was 69th Army, but look at it, it's way down here. there's nothing proximate to it yet. So I just, thinking back there, I don't think I considered it. What reminded me obviously was we're just about to do that here. So, well, I suppose we should activate the units first, shouldn't we? Just to make sure that it is happening. Well, it is happening. So they're not allowed to be in a VP hex. That's not the case. So we've got one there, one there, one there, and one here. So not surrounded. None of them are surrounded. Sorry, supplied was the first one, which they're all supplied, not surrounded, and then high strength. So we're looking for 2 of them with high strength. Well, Coilate Unit 6. Oh, and yeah, I fixed the mistake with this guy, didn't I? I talked about it. We got away with it in a way that I didn't really need to do anything about it, because he moved from here to here, and he shouldn't have moved from here to here. And then we moved them back from here to here, and we were kind of scratching our head a bit. And the reason we were scratching our head, obviously, was because he shouldn't have moved from there to there in the first place. So I looked carefully over it while I was watching back again, because I didn't notice the mistake when I was watching it. So I was able to keep that in mind. And I didn't see anything that shouldn't have happened. And I'm pretty sure I made a couple of comments in the video about what would have happened. Right, anyway. Right, the other 3 units are 3 strength. So they're all the same. We need to break it down. D is most units. They're all just 1-step units. Yeah, it's going to be the armoured unit, because the last one is lowest selector, and he's 13. And this is 17, and that's 18. So there's our 2 activated units. So let's have a look at the front objective. I don't think there's an issue yet again. Obviously there's not a unit in it. There's not a German unit in it with a southwest front unit round about it, and we are not proximate still. Excuse me. No gap here. No gap here, you know. So it's fine staying where it is. No. Wait now, excuse me. Oh, I needed a drink there. Any excuse for a drink, eh? Can't. Yeah, it's a bit itchy in my throat. Right. So only 2 units activated. Okay. That's fine though. And we don't, it's not until turn 4 when we move on to the, where's, what am I looking for here? I'm trying to get it with the play rate. Yeah, it's not until the, yeah, it's the end of their impulse. After they've attacked, from turn 4 we could place eligible active reserve units on the map. So if none of them had come into attack, or if there was still some left in the reserve units box, we could bring some out, and that's before you can bounce some back, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Right, so we're going to activate the 2 units and move them. See if we can move them. Right, they're both going to be spearhead units. Remember, I'm going to have to put that cooler on again. It's still hot. Sorry, I know it makes a wee bit of a noise, but I think it's still bearable. So we're still turns 1 to 4. Yeah. So nothing's changed with the movement methods. So, and these are, like we say, spearhead units, so they're not going to move at methods 4 to 9. And as well, just keeping the big picture for the first one anyway. The first one, take a VP hex. Yet again, not going to happen. The 2 units, we've still not exposed a VP hex to them. Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose we should look here. Yeah, I got a fright there. I thought for some reason he could get through. He can. However, yeah, because he would take this if he could. 1, to, but he can move adjacent to it. So, yeah. However, that's going to move away from his front. So he's probably not going to do that, and he doesn't get a check movement method 6, does he? Because he's spearhead. Anyway, he can't take the VP hex. That's what we're dealing with just now. So step 2 is adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. So it needs to move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of its front objective. Well, if he moves into here or here, he's going to be moving further away from his objective. Yeah, it is. So he's not going to do that. The other guy down here is already adjacent, isn't he? And he's not got a more preferable VPH to move to. So he is actually starting adjacent to his most preferred VP hex, and I'm getting the front markers mixed up again. We're southwest front. Yeah, I mean that's the one I checked as well. Sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking down. It doesn't matter. This guy, he'd still be 1 hex further away at least. He might even be 2 away if it goes to that one. But he's still further away, so he's not going to do it. Right, and this guy is starting adjacent to a German VP hex. His most preferred VP hex that he can reach. And it's within 4 hexes of his objective. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he doesn't move at all, except he can look at 9.25. And 9.25 says, because this is his target, he can only adjust around this. So he can only reach this hex or this hex. This one is going to be an empty hex, whereas this one's occupied. So he's going to lock in there, and he's not going to look at any other movement methods either. Don't move at all, it's at 9.25. He's checked 9.25 and everything's fine. Right, I'm still wanting to look at it. Hang on. Yeah, it is indeed. It's 9.25E is going to go by, which is empty hex, and that's empty, and that one would not be. Right, good. Okay, so we can just zone in on unit 6, the 6 guy up here now. And see if he's going to do anything. Right, we've got this open supply line now. So let's maybe have a look in the rule book after me just getting used to trying to look at the play rate. So moon method 3, open supply line starts from turn 3 onwards. That's the aim in preparation and moving into turn 4, of course. That's why it's starting just now, because next turn we're going to check then for supply. So move to a hex that if occupied by the unit would enable a unit in the active front and currently unable to trace supply, including the moving unit itself, to be able to trace supply. Prefer the hex that enables the most Soviet units to trace supply. Note that this movement method begins on game turn 3, even though Soviet supply checks begin on game turn 4. Yeah, so that's what I just said. I don't think any of the Soviets have supply issues, to be honest. I mean, I know I don't need to look that far back, but it's just that movement method is going to kick in the rest of this turn, so it's worthwhile maybe looking at possible, and it's just normal supply again, it's not reserve supply. This guy's fine, it's fine. These guys are all fine, yeah. They're all that side of our line. We've not put any pressure on that side of things. I mean, yeah, I could have at the time maybe moved this unit up and maybe tried to mess with this guy, but, well, we didn't do that. And, yeah, and then all these guys here as well can all trace supply. Their map edge is just... That's their map edge all the way along there, so... these guys can just trace up to one of the edge hexes, and that's that. So not a problem just now. Something we're going to keep in mind throughout the turn, but I think possibly going to see it happening. Also need to keep in mind that I've got to remember I can't move. German units can't move into hex. If they're able to trade supply before they move and they move into hex, they've got to be able to trade supply at the end of that move as well. So me saying about moving this guy in that way. Well, mind you, he wouldn't be able to trade supply at the start of the move, so yeah, might have got away with that one. Anyway, right, so movement methods 4 to 9. This guy does not check. He's not in a town or city. He is a spearhead unit. We move to movement method 10, which is movement arrows. He cannot. He can go 1 into there. He can go 1, 2 into here, or 2 into there. So he's not going to burn up all his movement. Move closest to front objective. Right, so he might back up because he reinforced the battle, didn't he? So yeah, he's more than likely just going to retreat back again now, I think. So he's wanting to move closer to his front objective. Move to X closer to the front unit's front objective. Not the same distance from the objective. Prefer the hex A closest to it, and then B adjacent to the German occupied hex with the least strength, and then C empty hex. Right, I'll open things up a bit there, and can we get the front objective marker in? Yeah, there it's there. So let's see where he's going to go. Right, I think that's it, because he's also in the... Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. What stopped that? This first guards unit. Did he come in from the reserves? I think he did, eh? Yeah. He wasn't there before. This guy can move further on, can't he? Because there's not a gap there. Yeah. You see, when he reinforced battle, this unit must have been here. Because the reserves come in first. Then we play the combat tactics, yeah. And that's what enabled him to move up there. Because if that unit hadn't come in, he would not be able to advance because we would have left proximity. So in actual fact, he can move further now. Right, let's relook that one. Okay, I think he's 10 hexes away there. And they two are 6 hexes away. So we will come back and double check if he's breaking a restriction, but I don't think he is. So if they're both 6s away, this one's adjacent to German unit though, so that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So prefer the hex closest to, and then adjacent to German occupied hex with the least strength. So that is going to be his priority, his preferred hex. And remember, again, although, yeah, there's only one hex from moving adjacent to enemy, so he is going to 9.25 at this hex. However, I don't think he's got another option. I checked, he didn't have the movement to get in here because it's woods. Remember, his first move is into a broken hex. He's not breaking zone of control, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would be 3 into the woods from, so he's not got the movement for that. So 5 into there. I think that's where he's going to go. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 into there. From there, that takes that one away. And he's 9.25. Doesn't warrant a check because he's not got the movement to reach there, and he's not got the movement to reach there. So that's where he's going to go. Yeah. So that guy could see some trouble as well then. I mean, I have to say now I'm not so concerned about that guy, and if the Popov are going to bring in the reserves on that unit, I might not be too bothered. That sounds harsh when you say these things, but okay, so that's that's both units moved, isn't it? So that's that. So now we're looking at attack checks. Okay. Conduct attack checks. Yeah, well we've got 2 units. Well, this is the first one to look at, isn't it? Okay, I thought it was only right to show what the actual force might be like. Yeah, that's where that guy was. I was going to double check. I don't think there's a need to. Like I say, these guys cannot get through here. he wasn't surrounding anybody, and he's not opened up proximity. Now, have any... I think it's not until turn 4 that there's another thing kicks in, isn't there? Yeah, that's quite an important one though, German supply traceable to. And then there's 2 extra conditions that sort of kick in. We're 9.23, but not until turn 4, so we're okay. So yeah, we can take that away. That's no problem there. Right, yeah, so that's what he could be facing, this guy. He's got his IP and all the units are going to be coming across the river. Can anyone deploy in here? No, because they need reserve supply. No, so that's good. And not there either. They could come in here though, here, and here. Yeah, okay. Right, well that's, yeah, this is probably going to be ugly, isn't it? So check one at a time. We're checking in ascending order. Obviously this is unit 1, so this guy we're checking. So we check him, all active units adjacent. So it's just him, remember, this guy's not active, even though he's from Mobile Group Popov. So we check him and include the strength of all active reserve units could be placed in hexes in reserve supply and adjacent to target. Well, I reckon every one of them could, because I've just said that stuff can come in here, stuff can come in here, here, and here. So let's just assume that all of them can come in. So we've got 6, 9, 11, 13, 15, 21. So we've got 21 to 2, is it? And he's out of supplies. So 21 to 2. He gets a +1 for having an IP, that's 21 to 3. However, he gets a -1. Oh, he gets a -2. He gets a -2. All German units out of supply is a -2. Ouch. So he's 1. So it's 21 to 1. The odds are 21 to 1. What do you think? Going to happen? Yeah. Right. So now we need to carefully go through this though, because yeah, they only want to bring in enough reserves to hit overwhelming attack and then stop, so that they might well have some reserves when it comes to looking at, dare I say it, this guy. Oh. Right. We're not even halfway through the first impulse and things are looking bad. Yeah, I guess we knew it was going to start going this way, but okay. Right, so let's get things worked out in some numbers then, I suppose. We do have cards we could play. I didn't have the pull out, did I? That would have been awesome. Oh, we didn't. That was the third core card. It's a camp group card. No, we've got the screen. Panzer Battalion. Oh, we might not be able to. He's out of supply. Yeah, my guess would be we probably can't play tactics anyway. Play German cards. Combat tactics, your options. Skip if all target units unsupplied or dispersed. So there you go. There's no point in looking at your cards, Grant. Okay, well we need some dice and see when we hit overwhelming odds. Now, there's an extra condition for that because all units are out of supply, isn't there? Right, where is that? Overwhelming odds. Pause the camera again. Right, yeah, the additional one regarding unsupplied is all defending units are unsupplied or dispersed and the attack has odds of 5 to 1 or greater. So that one's probably going to kick in first. Well, it is. That one's going to kick in first. Right. Can I see that on the thing? Unsupplied, dispersed, 5 to 1 or greater. Yeah. And all defending units are isolated. that automatically becomes an overwhelming attack, does that? Yeah. Okay. Right, some dice. So at the moment we've got 6 to 2. Now we're not thinking situational anymore. So 6 to 2, so there's 3 to 1 odds. 3 to 1 odds is not enough. They need to 5 to 1 odds. So 3 to 1 odds with 2 chip pools. That's what he's sitting at the moment. Because he's a 3-step unit. Oops. So he's needing a bit more than that. So we're going to bring in. Yeah, don't really need that anymore, Grant. Just give me the queried. Yeah. Right, so it's going to bring in reserves in ascending order. You can see we've got another 3-step unit here. So, and like I've said, you can go in here, 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 or here. I want to say. Let's just assume adjacent to hex under attack and Soviet reserve supply. Yes, and yes to these 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes. I'm not looking at these two. I know these are out. Non-reserve unit in active front is in or proximate to the hex. Yes, these guys are proximate to these 2 hexes, and the non-reserve unit. Placement would not violate stacking limits. Well, we need to watch. That guy's a 3-stepper, so we do need to watch with some other units. That's it. So then the preference hex is in Soviet support if attack not support, unsupported, causing surround of target. Oh, there you go then. So let me tilt that down a little bit. We know we can't go here or here. Oh, hang on, the unit is surrounded already. Eh? He's surrounded with that guy going there. Yeah, so that's not going to apply. What's the next one? Not across the Dnieper. Hex side, no. Causing target to be flanked. Okay, we can do that because at the moment he's not flanked. He's only getting attacked from this one hex. So that would be... where I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it has to be here. And let me get that guy in because he's attacking. So it has to be this hex here. Then we have the guy flanked. Oh, I forgot about the -1 for going across the river. It wouldn't have mattered, would it? What was it we had? 21. 21, yeah, come on, Grant. 21 to 2. +1 for the IP, 21 to 3, +1 for them coming across the river, 21 to 4, and then -2. So 21 to 2, so it was 10 to 1. Yeah. Is that enough for you, Grant? Right, okay. So it still goes ahead. Because all attacking options are actually coming across this river. We cannot get at this hex. So he gets deployed there. So what now happens is we've got 12 against 2. So that's going to make it overwhelming, isn't it? That's 6 to 1 odds. So you can see that that's all they're going to bring. The other reserves are going to say, well, we'll just hang about the now, just in case something else, some other juicier target appears. And this is something I don't think happened in the enemy action or den. You can see it's much better, obviously, for the AI. And it was strange at times because they were just piling everything in, you know. Whereas you thought, right, well, okay, well, I've no chance here, but fair enough, chuck more in if you want, draw cards and whatever. It was in there, but like I say, not as carefully placed as it is now. They've thought about it more and whatever. So we now have 12 to 2. And they don't get any reductions to their strength. It's only the Dnieper River that reduces their strength in half, I think. But the Donets River doesn't do that. The thing that it does do for us is we get to reduce a hit to ourselves. So we have that. So 12 to 2 is 6 to 1, and then 4 chip pools. Yeah, that's it. So they're not gonna. That's going to become overwhelming now. So we stop there. We don't add any more reserves. Now we draw a Soviet card and apply its combat tactics, but and then we would add the auxiliary card. No, hang on, Grant, you do them individually, don't you? So we draw a combat tactic unless it's overwhelming. Then we would add the auxiliary card unless it was then overwhelming. Well, it's overwhelming now because this guy is out of supply and they've got 5-1 odds at least. Then that makes it overwhelming. And yeah, so they're not going to draw a card, they're just going to have an attack, and you know what, we might as well just bash on because we can't play a card here, so that's that. Bring the dice down a little bit, get zoomed in a little bit better. Okay, well, yeah, things getting a bit cramped, but right, that's fine. So the attack is here, with these two units flanking our infantry unit. Across the river, he's got an IP, but he's out of supply. So let's go and draw 4 chits. Let's say we can't play a card, so 6-1 odds, 4 chits, he's only infantry. Right, okay, let's do it. Flank attack, yes, and that's why he was placed there, the reserve. It was 71 on the front, actually, so they were close to that. Obviously they could have got to that with another reserve probably. However, right, that's D1 to start with, but that's just the removal of our IP. So, well, in fact, no, it's not, because we get to reduce a hit. So they're only getting 4 chit pools here, so you never know. Yes, okay, and that's the sort of chits we want to see that do nothing. So yeah, no artillery played. They didn't even draw a card. So still sitting at D1. Oh, more artillery. Right, well, looks like we're going to survive this. Well, we definitely are, I think. Yeah. Right, 1 chit to come. Right, okay, it'd been nicer to have not had that, but however, like I say, he's still going to hold because he still gets a reduction. Now, hang on. Did they get extra chit pools? I think they probably do. +1 chit if defender out of supply. Damn. Now, is there any? Let me see. I want to see what out of supply does, just in case it might increase hits or something like that. Yeah, here we are. I'm just in the play raid. Well, the effects of unsupply. It's rule 13.2, but I'm on the play raid. If all units in a combat are unsupplied, no combat tactics may be applied on their behalf. Right, we knew that. A mechanised unit may move only 2 X's. Well, these infantry can't gain an IP but retains one previously placed. Right, I did say that was the case, and we were okay with that. German may attack only if at least one supplied unit is also attacking. Soviet can't attack. Can't receive replacements. And then out of supply only. Enemy attackers may draw 1 extra combat chit and may disregard 1 attacker hit. Right, okay, so it's a disregard for them. However, that's not a 4, Grant. That's a 5, I'm afraid. So, yeah, we still have the chance of some trouble here. And plus, you know, there is a chance of a D2 chit here. Okay, right, we need to draw 1 more chit. Yeah, I was looking at that side thinking, right, okay, this could be bad, it's clear. It's worse, look. Dispersed unsupplied. Well, I say it's worse, it's a D1. I mean, the ignore or a hit to them is kind of moot, really, innit? So reduce IP, retreat. Oh, I'm surrounded as well. Is he only 1 step? He's going to die. Yeah, I was forgetting he's only 1 step. So 1 retreat, and I guess I was also forgetting that wherever he retreats to, he's taking a step loss. Damn it. Okay, so the results are D3. So D3, the first hit gets soaked up because we get to negate a hit coming across. Full units attack across Donets Hexide defender, hits are reduced by 1. So that reduces it down to 2. The second hit is going to remove our IP, taking it down to 1. And then the final hit, well, we have a choice. We can sit there and take the hit, or retreat and take the hit. So, yeah, he's gone. Damn. That was that last chip pull as well. I mean, I was close to surviving there. He done well, that guy, as well. So he's from 3rd Corps. He was only 1 step. That was the last of the hits. Let me just plonk a cube there. That's where he was. Yeah. Oh well. Well, the first attack of the turn, and the Soviets get an elimination, get to advance across that river, and they've still got 4 units waiting in the reserves for the next look, the next combat check look, and I think that's going to happen as well. And I don't feel confident about that guy surviving either, to be honest. Right, so no hits to the Soviets. There's no path of retreat left because the unit was eliminated. Advance after combat. Now, both the units, yeah, it doesn't matter if you come in from reserves, you can still advance. I've never seen anything about that anyway. Just if it was assault coordinated or reinforced battle. So Unit 1 first, we've got Unit 1, Unit 2. It's not his forward arrow or secondary arrow, so it is across the river though, is there not one about that? Right, into first it applies. VP Hex, no. Primary direction, no. Hex enabling supply, no. Across river and closer to objective. It just says across river. That must be any river then, eh? Must be, it just says across river, Grant. It's not talking about one of the major rivers, then. It could just be a minor river then. I mean, I know we're going across a major river, okay, but where's the table? Yeah, let's see. Cross river and closer to objective. Yeah, it just says river. Right, so any river. That will be the case then. It's going to automatically advance into there for its first hex. And then its second hex, and it's going to push on, isn't it? It's going to check primary direction, which is an auto advance for its second hex. It's not moving from zone of control to zone of control, so it's going to advance again the second hex. Yep. And then this guy would be crossing the river, but that's not closer to his objective. He's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's moving further away for his objective, so you wouldn't check that one. It's not secondary either, is it? No, it's not got any arrows. Causes surround, no. Closer to objective, no. Attacked, well, it is the attacked hex, so no, it's a roll on that, Grant. It's a 1 to 7 roll. And he's rolled a 9, so he's not. I think if he'd went in there, he probably would have joined this guy anyway, so no, that's probably better for us. Right, and that's that. So that's that attack, check, and attack completed. So now we need to go and look at this guy. Okay, so doing attack check here again, and obviously nice to have the reserve standing by so we can see what we're doing. So Unit 13, well, he's got 2 possibilities, but I mean it's 3 against. Well, it does depend on where the reserves would go in as well, admittedly. But I don't think there's an issue where reserves going in here, and here. So, which are all around this guy. So, and he's clearly going to be the lowest strength because this is 3 against 4 base. Because he gets +1 for the IP, +1 for adjacency, and this is 3 against 6. So this is a lower chance. So what can we bring? Yeah, maybe he's still, because there's not. These are all 2. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. So it's 12 against 4. Yeah, it's just 3 to 1 on, isn't it? Isn't it? 3, 6. and 6 is 12 against 2, 12 against 3 for the IP, 12 against 4 for the adjacency. Yeah, it's 3, so it is a go. And remember, they're not attacking across the river, even though some of them might be attacking across the river, and they're not all attacking. Okay, so this is going to happen as well. But right off again, we've got only 1-to-1 odds. 1-to-1 odds and 1 chip pool. Let's adjust this guy to his attacking position. There we go. So yeah, 3 against 2. 1-to-1, 1 chip pool. Right, let's start chucking some reserves on. Come back. Add active reserves, but not when attack overwhelming. I don't think this one's going to get to that stage this time, but so we're adding reserves in ascending order. So unit 16 first, and just looking at, what did I say? 1, 2, 3. These 3 hexes, they are all adjacent to the hex under attack. They're all in Soviet reserve supply. A non-reserve unit in the active front is in or proximate to the hex. Ooh, there's maybe an issue. Yeah, there you go. Because these 2 hexes more Voronezh front, isn't it, here? So I don't think there's a Voronezh front unit. So let me check that in the rules. 12.2. Just in case. I think I looked here already, I don't know. 12.2. A unit in the same front, other than a reserve, placed in this attack is in or proximate to the hex. Eh? A unit in the same front. Oh, sorry, I'm just reading that wrong. So a unit in the same front, other than a reserve placed in this attack, is in or proximate to the hex. Yeah, I was kind of reading that in the Grant way. So yeah, I mean, I guess these are probably the closest. So 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5 across there, because it's 1 across and 2 into the woods. So I don't think. Oh, hang on. Well, yeah, no. Can he not count him? He counts himself. He can do it himself, can't he? What was that again? A unit. No, I've lost the bit I was looking at. I was looking at the rule book. A unit in the same front, other than a reserve placed in this attack. So this unit isn't a reserve placed in the attack. This is the actual unit that's making the attack. So yeah, he can go. Oh, I don't think he can make it, but this is one we looked at a few times. This is breaking zone of control 1, 2, 3 for the river, 4 into there, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be 7 to get around there, and you can't get into there either. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 it is to move back into there for him. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's interesting then. Well, I might have added too many reserves to this, so we might need to backtrack a little, because my guess is only 2 reserves can join this attack, because they're all going to have to stack in this hex. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, even the mechanite, I mean, I don't know if I can count this guy because he's just moved, but I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, again, that's 7. I cannot get a southwest front. There's not a southwest front unit proximate to either of these 2 hexes, even including this guy, which you wouldn't have thought was going to be something to consider, but there you go. It must be to do, well, you can kind of understand it, but the reserves will want to be where they could come from, basically. I mean, they're kind of hidden in the sort of, you know, they're hidden, they're sort of a fog of war, aren't they? They're out there somewhere, and we don't know where, but I mean, they're obviously not over in the Donets front area, they're close by their buddies, you know, so it's just you don't know exactly where, and I think that's why that checks, you know, makes it fair. Okay. Okay, well that does seem to be the case. We can only attack from this hex. We can only place reserves into this hex. So would this attack went ahead then? I need to, because I counted up all the units, didn't I? I don't think it's going to be an auto attack. I need to go back to attack checks. So let's start the attack checks again. So it's 3. Well, what it's going to be is it's going to be 3 and it's going to be 2 of these units. So we're going to have 5 strength rather than 9. So 5, 8. We're going to have 8 to 2 plus 1 is 8 to 3 plus 1 is 8 to 4. So the odds are only 2 to 1. Because it says include strength of all active reserve units that could be placed in hexes in reserve supply and adjacent to target. But remember, that's going to stop them from getting placed into these 2 hexes, that condition. So we've got 2 to 1, so we're now backtracking, doing a check. I'll just leave the dice there just now, but so we've got 2 to 1. What's the value of the card? It's only a 2 as well, isn't it? Right then, that still might happen. They've got armour, we're only infantry, so yeah, I think it still might happen. So they've got 2 to 1. The card value's a 2, right? So 2, and then they've got 2 to 1, so that's another 2, that's 4. There's no Soviet artillery barrage. They are in support, that's 5. Only Soviet units have armour, that's correct. So that's a 6. Yeah, this is going to happen, I think. That is infantry, yeah. If any attacking units are surrounded, no, they are not. I don't know if that looks at the reserves. Well, I wouldn't be able to put them in the hex if they were surrounded, Grad. Okay. If flanking will apply, or defender will be surrounded and unable to trace supply. Well, flanking won't apply because they're only attacking from 1 hex. If target hex is VP greater than or equal to 2, no. If all combat tactics on an auxiliary card apply, this is only the last one because they've not got less than 4 cards in their draw pile, but I think this is going to apply. It's NKVD. So, which to be honest, well, I don't know. There's pluses and minuses to that. So I think that does apply, doesn't it? NKVD. Soviet attack. Increase hits incurred by the defender by 1. NKVD combat should apply. Yeah, it is. So that's going to be a go. That's going to be up to 7. So just double check. 2 for the card, 2 for the 2 to 1 is 4. 1 for the support is 5. 1 for the Soviet units of armour. Only Soviet units of armour. That's 6. And then 1 for the combat tactics and the auxiliary card apply. And that's 7. Yeah. Okay. So it's still going to go ahead. Well, that's good. Well, I can leave the dice still then because the odds at the moment are still 1 to 1. Well, I mean, I think the 2 units are going to come in, aren't they? So that's where we were, I think. So coming back to here, add active reserves, adjacent, Soviet reserve, non-reserve unit in front, active front is in or proximate. So they're going in a hex that the unit's already in. So that does work. And placement will not violate stacking limits. Yeah, there's no point in looking at preferences. We're doing them as in ascending order. So 16 is going to move into the hex, and that's going to add another 3 strength and a chip draw. Sorry. So 6 to 2 now is 3 to 1 odds, and another chip pool. And then, so that's still not overwhelming, and we've still got 1 space, so it's going to be unit 20, and he's going to come in as well. Put him down the bottom. He's going to bring in another 2 strength, so we're going to have 8 to 2. So the odds are going to be 4 to 1. And again, he's going to add the chip pool. Oh yeah, I've got to draw a combat tactic as well. So yeah, and the other 2 reserves can't come in because there's nowhere for them to be placed that's legal. Yeah? Okay. Right, and then draw, it's not overwhelming. So let's draw a combat tactic and apply that. We get fixed artillery, that will apply. It's only just outside the, well actually it's a few hexes out, but I think it moved up to 4, didn't it? Or was it 3? Fixed artillery range is 4. There's a barrage zone there. Well, that hex there, so 1, 2, 3. So it's within that, so they get artillery and add the chip pool. And then it's still not overwhelming, so they're going to bring in the NKVD, which deals an extra hit, doesn't it? It gives them an extra hit and the possibility of NKVD chips being drawn, and increases the chip pool again up to 5. Well, it doesn't alter the odds, but we're guaranteed 1 hit. We're sitting on an IP though, but yeah. So double checking, we've got 8 strength against 2, 4 to 1 odds, 3 units, and 2 combat tactics is 5 chip pools. Right, well actually we can play a card this time. And well, there might be something to be found in this, maybe. There's a glance at our hand for the options of playing combat tactics. We can't play assault coordination, so that's out. Combat engineers, we've already got an IP, so they 2 are out. We've got screen or Panzer Battalion. Panzer Battalion, add 2 to the combat strength of German attack. Add 1 to the strength of a German defence. So that would make the odds 8 to 3. That would reduce the odds in half actually, wouldn't it? I think, was it 8 you had? I think so. Yeah, so it's 8 to 2 just now, 4 to 1. 8 to 3 would reduce it to 2 to 1. What else does it do? This adds armour to the German units in the combat if they do not already possess that. And then 1 attacking German infantry unit may advance after combat. Yeah, that's not what it's going to apply anyway. So it would give us armour and reduce the odds to 2 to 1. That's the 3rd Corps Kampf Group card, which I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I suppose that was a card that we could have moved this unit into Kramatorsk, wouldn't it? Then again, move that unit to Kramatorsk. That opens that gap for these guys. So, however, we could activate these 2 stacks with that card and adjust this so that there wasn't a gap. Move that guy into there, I think. Would that work? And then move him into Kramatorsk. So that's what the use of that card would be. And then the other one, the screen, obviously we could reduce the chip pools down to 3, which is nice. At 4 to 1 odds, and the fact we've got an IP, ooh, well, mind you, they've got that NKVD on us, so they've got a hit on us already. But using this card was part of our... This was probably the second card I was going to play, because I was thinking, play this, get 2 core Rouse units in the reserve units box, and then deploy them with that. Yeah, well, this is the bit where one of the bits you struggle at, Grant, and never very sure. This is also the one that's got air supply, but then we've lost one of the units that were out of supply. The other unit, I mean, are we really caring about him? I mean, I'm not saying I don't care, but I mean, he's surrounded anyway, and yeah. I think if you're going to put a guy back in supply, you're going to have to be making an attack with him with somebody else maybe, or near the end of the turn where you want to make sure that he's able to trace supply again. So I'm not so sure I want to play that, but I don't know. Or we let it go, and if we let it go, well, and the guy gets taken out, then we have a gap through here. And then there might be more worry about other things. Yeah, that second SS card, I'm not so sure it's getting used to replace that point. I think we're going to have to move. I think we're going to have to back off into Kharkov, aren't we? So does that mean I should just not care about that guy? Take my chances. He might surprise us and hold on. He's in the woods. Because if he gets eliminated, they can advance into there. They then can't advance into their mind, because that'd be going from zone of control to zone of control with no path of retreat. So they would have to advance the second hex only into here, which, yes, is a threat on Kharkov. And the other good thing about this is we're using the auxiliary card, so there's no chance to activate again quickly and move in. That does put us in a position where we're probably abandoning Chugiev. Maybe not Zimnev, actually. Maybe, I think we'll hold that, but maybe bring this guy back to here. And, well, in actual fact, maybe bring that guy back to Belgorod. It means we're abandoning our 48 core guy, but he's still surrounded, so he could maybe try and fight his way out. Oh, we already tried that, and this infantry was solid. In fact, it even gave us a punch, didn't it? Yeah, I think with that is then we just keep our cards. And we hope that guy can hang on, yeah. But if he doesn't, well, it is going to happen. It is going to happen, yeah. Right, so we're not going to do that. We've got 41 odds. 5 chip pools. I don't know where things are going. Cards are... Well, maybe I can adjust and bring things down a bit more. Hang on. Right, I'll zoom in a little bit and get the chits in there somewhere. I just put the other 2 reserves back in the reserved units box because, well, they're not going to come out to play now. This is our last check. Yeah, okay, so NKVD and artillery they've got. Right, let's zoom in a bit and see what this guy's fate is. So 5 chits to draw. He's infantry in the woods. Right, here we go. What about this bad boy to start with? IP crossfire. Or attack not supported. Just checking it because we've never seen it work. Actually, you'll need to find another place to check it, Grant. IP crossfire applies if the defender in improved position. Take that. That's a beauty, eh? So G minus 1. So it's taken the hit off us from the NKVD and dealt him a hit. Wow. I'll have some of that. Right, 4 to go though, Grant, so let's not get too carried away. I will get carried away. Look at that. In the woods. Another beauty. Okay. So this guy's, yeah, I mean he's, yeah, I think, well, it would have to go horribly wrong from now, but okay, still 3 to come though. 4 to 1, so it's an A1 D1 though, and what's in the back of that? 3 to 1, less than 3 to 1 now. A1 D1, I think that's a good chit for us, is it not? Because we were sitting at D minus 2, well, D minus 1 technically, with the NKVD. Yeah, it's not, well, we don't want to see any more D1s though, Grant, so, right, 2 to come. Yeah, you're not so smug now, Grant. Right, well, we really don't want another D1, so 1 to come. Ah, well, that finished badly, didn't it? Yeah, I was getting a bit too carried away there, I think. Right, I'm not quite sure of the result. Then all the chits applied, they did play artillery. We're in the woods, we've got an IP, and the odds are 4 to 1, so the other 2 chits apply. So the results are going to be, oops. The results are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 against. D1. Yeah, I'll take it as D1 just now. That's going to be D2 though, isn't it? Damn. So it's D1 on the chits, and what is it? It's 2 for them. A2. Yeah, A2. So D1 and A2. Yeah, so D1 and A2. That's artillery done with. Now, however, the NKVD does hit us. Increased hits incurred by the defender by 1. We didn't do any chits, so that does apply, and that becomes D2. Almost a great result, really, but we are going to suffer a little bit. So D2, well, the first hit removes the IP. So yeah, we're going to have to retreat or die. So yeah, that was a shame. I'm happy with just that result, but well, not to be, Grant. Right, so we're going to have to retreat to satisfy, and they're probably going to advance into there. Does it matter where we go? We can go here or here. Still not a gap, whatever hex we go to, so yeah, I think I'll just drop back into there, so that satisfies that second hit. Well, the good part is they're going to take 2 hits. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. They're not going to disperse, I don't think. So 2 hits to them. Well, let's have a look. First hit is remove a step, so it's most steps in highest selector number. So, well, actually, it's going to be him because they're all 1-step units, aren't they? So it is going to be 10 pop off, which is selector number 13. Becomes selector number 22, so he's way down the bottom now. That's 1 hit satisfied, so they've still got another 1 to have to look at. So we check this table, and we've got 3 steps, haven't we? I think that's all it looks like is the steps. We've got 3 steps and 1 hit to take. Attacker steps 3. Well, 1 hit to take, they're going to disperse. Yeah. We've only got 3 steps. Yeah, and there's 1 hit, they're going to disperse to soak up that hit. Well, I suppose, to be honest, one of them was going to die, wasn't it? So what would you have done yourself? I don't know. So they will disperse there and not advance after combat. And that soaks up 2 hits, but they only had 1 left to assign. Okay, not the worst then. The fact that they've done that also is, and the guy's still alive, and the line's not been broken there. So, yeah. So this bit, there's a bit of line got broken here. So now we need to watch that. But I think there could be a good chance of, well, no, we held the line here, so we don't need to seriously abandon right now, I don't think. So maybe the more important part is Kramatorsk and the 3rd Corps fixing this line, maybe, or doing something, I think that was only a camp group card, wasn't it? Right, okay. So that's all the combat over. There's nobody able to bounce back to reserve. All the units that were active did something. So that's impulse over. Now they used the auxiliary card as well. So, and they've got a stack of 3 units there. They're going to be dispersed. So the next activation of pop-off will only bring them back to life. But yeah, that's it. Right, well that's managed to take an hour and 20 minutes. Okay. Well, that's us got us into the swing of things anyway, and that's turn 3 underway, and yeah, we've seen what's going to start happening. Yeah, this is the big turn to get through, isn't it? Really, this is a big turn to survive. So we need to make some clever choices. That could be tough. Right, okay, I'm going to get this put up, and I think I need to take a bit of a break for now. Might get another bit done later. I don't know, maybe not tonight. I'm feeling a bit worn out, to be honest, so maybe not. But I'll be back with the next part sometime soon. Okay guys, cheers.